Good morning, metalheads of the internet, and welcome to a new episode of the Metal Meltdown. Today we are talking about the sophomore studio album from American death metal crew Undeath, entitled It's Time to Rise from the Grave. Undeath have only been around for a few years at this point, having formed in 2018 and having put out their first few demos and recordings in 2019, but in this pretty small amount of time, Undeath have quite fascinatingly had a massive impact on modern death metal. Their official debut album, Lesions of a Different Kind, was critically acclaimed across the board, topping multiple end-of-the-year lists in 2020. It even caught the attention of Rolling Stone magazine and Anthony Fantano. Undeath's lead singer, Alex Jones, and no, not that Alex Jones, was also recently featured in a death metal roundtable hosted by Knotfest and Metal Injection, which also featured members of Cannibal Corpse, Gatecreeper, the Black Dahlia Murder. It became a somewhat divisive thing, thanks to a gentleman whose name may or may not rhyme with Bish Carnes. But, you know, it was a big thing, you know? Yeah. And more recently, and less controversially, a metal god like Max Cavalera even shined a spotlight on Undeath, naming them, an underground band that people need to get to know, in a special clip shared by Knotfest once again, as well as the Talk To Me podcast. So yeah, Undeath. Kind of a big fucking deal. It's safe to say that this is probably one of the most anticipated death metal records of 2022, alongside the new Venom Prison. I don't think anything else even comes to mind. I don't know. We'll see what the rest of the year has to offer. But the point is, a lot of people are pumped about this record and pumped about Undeath, and it's very easy to see why. Because damn, these motherfuckers can play. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pretend, unlike some outlets out there, unlike some critics out there, that this is a truly mind-blowing, revolutionary, one-of-a-kind death metal experience, because it isn't. If you're familiar with death metal, you're familiar with a lot of what Undeath is doing on this record. But it is fun. It's very well crafted. It's extremely heavy. There's sprinkles of influence from across the death metal spectrum, from classic death metal, from modern death metal. It's ballsy and in your face and genuinely pretty well made. And did I mention fun? Because holy shit, this thing is just fucking fun. It's a love letter to death metal as a whole, written by dudes who love death metal and are also really fucking good at playing it. I mean, just look at the album's lead single and title track, Rise from the Grave. This is a dirty, ballsy death metal bruiser with galloping rhythms caked in slime and pus and blood and fuzz. It's grotesque, it's brutal, and just so meaty and so chunky and so muscular. Like, this thing's got more fucking meat and muscle on it than fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone in the mid-1980s. These are some hunky death metal fucking monsters. Take, for instance, on Head Splattered in 7 ways. It's punishing, it's bloodthirsty, it's super in your face and straight to the goddamn point. Some of the chunkiest, fattiest, dirtiest, gnarliest riffs and grooves on the record right goddamn here. Necrobionics is a slightly weirder, funkier track with churning grooves contrasted with some ferocious blast beats. Very reminiscent of, like, Chris Barnes era Cannibal Corpse, but, you know, don't start thinking for a second that this is a clone, a carbon copy of anything Cannibal Corpse have done. As I said before, it's a love letter to the entire death metal genre, and Undeath pay homage to other classic bands, other classic records and tunes, bringing all kinds of different influences and spices into the mix. Tracks like Human Chandelier, Trampled Headstones, Defiled Again, for instance, have the kind of tone and vibe and really gory, hyper-violent feel that I might expect from some early Exhumed and Carcass. Every once in a while, you'll hear a more angular riff that feels like it could have been composed by Demilich, Every once in a while, you'll hear a chorus that's very loud and provocative, like something I might expect from Deceased. And it's not just classic death metal either. Undeath are paying close attention to what's happening with modern death metal. Like, the production and the overall design and the sound mix of this record feels more akin to something like Tomb Mold than it does, well, any of the bands we've mentioned so far. I mean, the whole thing is produced, mixed, and mastered by Dardaris and Rizk, the former of which I wasn't too familiar with beforehand, but after looking him up and kind of scrolling through some of the stuff he's done, he's very clearly a talented guy, the latter of which I know pretty goddamn well at this point. I mean, he's got his own bands, Eternal Champion and Summerlands, but he's also produced music for Power Trip and the Cro-Mags and the aforementioned Tomb Mold. He's worked with Max Cavalera, Ghostmane, like, the dude is mad fucking talented, and that talent once again shines on this fucking record. At this point, don't bother making an extreme metal record if you're not going to hire this man to do something behind the scenes. Have him play the goddamn triangle. I don't know. It'll instantly make your record 10,000 times better. I'm convinced at this point. I honestly don't have much to say. It's just a really great record from start to goddamn fucking finish. Tons of delicious, tasty, spicy fucking riffs. Alex Jones is a beast on vocals. Like, he's kind of nailed that classic death metal tone and rage and anger. Drums, bass, the production, you know, it's great. Yes, this thing is like over-the-top violent and arguably kind of dumb in some places, but it's dumb fun. It's Marvel blockbuster action movie dumb fun, you know? It's call your buds and hang out in your basement and play Mortal Kombat and drink beer dumb fun. This gets a very enthusiastic 4 out of 5 from me. I do feel comfortable saying this is one of the best death metal records I've heard so far in 2022. It does not top Erebus from Venom Prison for me, but hey, if you just love that kind of classic death metal sound, maybe this will top Venom Prison for you, you know? Like, if you love Cannibal Corpse and Exhumed and Carcass and Deceased and a lot of the bands we've mentioned, if you love classic American death metal, but you are open-minded to some more modern production value and some more modern flourishes, then boom, this is 110% what you've been waiting for. I would personally advise Undeath to start branching out and expanding on a third studio album, you know? Like, stick within the realms of death metal, because that's clearly what y'all love and what y'all want to do. But, you know, it wouldn't hurt to explore some of the sub-genres as well. It wouldn't hurt maybe to go into more melodic or more technical or blackened or thrashy territory. Just a thought, just so that things don't get stale and repetitive. But I mean, hey, we can cross that fucking bridge when we get there. For now, I've really no issue with this record whatsoever. 4 out of 5, it's just a really great fucking record. If you love death metal, you'll love this. If you don't love death metal, this won't change your mind. But then again, if you don't love death metal, you probably, I don't know why you'd be watching this video up until this point anyway. You're gone. I'm talking to nobody at this point. So, yeah, check it out. Do it. It's fucking great. It's fun. I love it. And that is it for the Metal Meltdown. I'm not an expert, nor do I claim to be, so what do you think? Do you like this record? Do you not like this record? And what do you want to hear from me next? And thank you for watching. Make sure you press subscribe right here so you get updates on the Metal Meltdown fucking immediately. And as always, you have yourself a fantastic fucking day.